So number 8 asks us to graph this equation here and label all the points. So this one is another one where you need to look at your standard formulas and see what it might fit into. Also, you use your hint of what they're asking for. So since they're asking you for vertices, foci, and center, then you know you're looking at an ellipse. So the standard equation for an ellipse is x squared all over a squared minus y squared all over b squared equals 1. So you need to get it into that format, which is a little bit difficult. It's definitely a practice of your algebra. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna group the x's and y's. So let's do 8y squared minus 64y. Group those over there. And then we'll do plus 6x squared minus 36x and plus 134 equals 0. Now let's we're gonna use we're gonna first take out the first number that they have in common, so 8, and then this is the square of 8, so this is 6, and that's the square of 6. And then we're gonna use the number that would make this a difference of squares so that we can get it into the right format. So for this one, it's gonna be 8y squared minus 8y minus 128 would be the number we need for a difference of squares here, plus 6x minus 3 squared, and then 54. Sorry, this should have been squared here too. Oops. Sorry, Lisa. I skipped a step here, so this should be y minus 4 squared minus 128, 6 times x minus 3 squared minus 54. And then we have to keep our 134 that we had before, equals 0. So the first thing I did was I took the 8 out here, took the 6 out here, then further simplified what was left with the square and adding the difference of square number here, so that we can very nicely now, we add these numbers together, and then we'll get 8 times y minus 4 squared plus 6 times x minus 3 squared minus 48 equals 0. Now we can divide all of these numbers by 2. They all have them in common. And we also want to move this over to there. So that would give us 4 times y minus 4 squared plus 3 times x minus 3 squared equals 24. Now we're ready to put it into our standard format over here. So we're gonna get y minus 3 all over the square root of 8 squared plus x minus 4. I got this wrong. X, and this is y minus 4 all over the square root of 6 squared equals 1. So then, now we've got, I had it right the first time. Wait, no, yeah, this is right. Y, sorry, X, okay. Now we need to find our points. So they want us to find the vertex, the foci, and the center. So because generally in the standard format, this is going to be, our vertex will be 0, 0, because you see there's no addition or subtraction to the x or y here. But because we have 2 here, our center is going to be 3, 4.
3, 4.
And that means we're going to have a displacement of our ellipse. And then, so our vertex is normally going to be 0, or sorry, plus or minus a 0. And so what we have here is a and b based on the standard form. Get down, please.
No, I want to get
down,
on me.
please. Based on the standard form here, we've got a and b. A and b. So that would give us square root of 8, 0. But because our center is at 3, 4, we have to add 3 and add 4. So that's going to give us a vertex of 5.834. And then you now have to do the negative version. So negative square root of 8 plus 3 is going to give you 0.174. So that's the negative and positive. For the foci, that should be plus or minus C, 0. Now, as you can see from our standard form, we don't have C, but we can find it by doing a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if we plug that in here, if we do square root of 8 squared plus square root of b, or sorry, wait, these are already in their squared form. So if we do square root of 8 plus square root of 6, we're gonna get the square root of 2 plus or minus square root of 2 is equal to c. So that means that our foci is gonna be square root of 2, 0, negative square root of 2, 0. But again, because our center is at 3, 4, we're going to add 3 and we're going to add 4 to each of these. And so that's going to give us a foci of 1.59 for 4.414.
Mama.
And then they want us to graph it, so we draw our XY coordinates here, plot our points. So we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, since we go all the way to 5.83 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it doesn't look like we have any negative numbers. So our center is going to be at 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our center. Our vertices are going to be at 0.17, so it's going to be barely over 0, 4. And then 5.83, so barely under 6 for. And those are going to be the sides of the ellipse. And then the foci are going to be between those numbers. And so then you can draw your pretty ellipse.